Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Experts. Today's our first Thursday of the month, so that means it's Community Association Law Show. You can call us today at 888-565-1470, especially if you're a board member or you're a property management company. And we have two of the senior partners with us. We have Robert Kaye and Michael Bender, both have been with us for the last almost 3 years now. 2 years.
This is our second anniversary day.
Is it really? Anyway, I did tell you that we're going to be going to FM 95.3. It isn't starting yet, but it's supposed to start this month. You'll be able to listen to us now on FM and AM. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
So let's start off because by the emails we get, we have new listeners every week. Tell everybody about Kaye Bender and Rembaum.
Would you like the honors today?
Sure, why not? Kaye Bender and Rembaum has been in continuous practice since 1992, providing community association representation for condominiums, homeowner associations, cooperatives, and the like. We provide full service relative to all the needs of associations, from review of covenants, providing opinions, enforcement of covenants, collection of unpaid maintenance assessments, review of contracts, dealing with construction defect issues across the board. We also provide education for free throughout the Tri-County area and beyond.
Did you say collection?
Free education.
Free education, yes.
And now you practice in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County.
And beyond, yes.
Okay. So, again, if you are a board member, you are with a management company, call us at 888-565-1470. This is the day to call in, get all your questions in.
See if you can stump the lawyer.
Yeah, stump the lawyer. I love that. You've got a lot of classes coming up this month, free classes. So where are we going to start at?
Well,
I don't know if we have a lot more than any other month.
Yeah, we have.
My list is long.
It is. Well, actually, I think because you have September and October.
Oh, okay. I do.
Because we do classes every month.
There is some crossover.
We do have some exciting things coming up. We actually we do have the two office locations, as you know, the main office in Pompano Beach on Copans and 90 off Copans and Andrews, and then our second office in Palm Beach Gardens at 9121 North Military Trail, and offering education out of both locations. In September, what are we now? Today's September 1st, right?
Today's the 1st today.
Okay, so.
And happy Labor Day.
Yeah, so we have in Pompano Beach, we have two classes in September. The first will be guest restrictions and screening tenants and new owners. Is it worthwhile?
That's a good one.
It is a great class. It's about I think it's the third or fourth time we're giving it out of our Pompano office, and the room fills up. So you definitely need to RSVP in advance.
How do they do that?
They can do that by they can RSVP for any of the classes in either location, going to kbrlegal.com. For the Pompano office, it's seminars@kbrlegal.com.
Per email?
For Palm Beach Gardens, it's Trisha@kbrlegal.com, TRISHA, or they can go to info@kbrlegal.com if they can remember that. Just let us know the date and the location where they'd like to see the program. Tuesday, September 13th, that guest restrictions. And for managers who are listening, that class does come with a free CAM credit in HR, which I understand is one that is usually in demand. And then on Tuesday, September 27th in Pompano Beach, we'll be giving our Condominium Association board member certification class. In Palm Beach Gardens on September 14th will be the HOA board member certification class. On September 21st, the condominium board member certification. And on Wednesday, the 28th, they'll be offering the guest restrictions and screening tenants class. So,
Can you go back in, since there's people who are thinking about going on the board, tell them about the certification classes and why they need them.
Okay. Well, in the state of Florida, the law requires that all board members of a condominium, HOA, cooperative, now a mobile home even, have certification. Certification can be obtained two different ways. The recommended way, and I think the preferred way, would be to go to a division approved board member certification class. We happen to be division approved, and we offer these free classes.
With light refreshments.
Thank you, light refreshments. And so you attend by attending the class, you're getting the ABCs of being a board member. You're getting some great information and education from our qualified and experienced attorneys. We always have attorneys teaching the classes, and of course there's other board members, like-minded board members who attend these classes, who I think when there's we offer time for Q&A, and there's a lot of give and take, so it's not just a drone-on seminar. It's a great experience. You go home with very good materials that you can relate back to. All the classes, by the way, are in the evenings. In Palm Beach Gardens, they start at 6 o'clock, and in Pompano Beach, they start at 6:30. The board member education goes for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and the guest restrictions class is an hour to an hour and a half. Again, kbrlegal.com is the website where you can get all this information. You can also RSVP for the classes at the website, or you can also call 800-974-0680.
Can we go to the phone?
Sure.
We've got Pat.
Don't want to keep Pat waiting.
Hi, Pat.
Pat?
Hello?
You're on the Ask the Expert show. You're here with Robert and Michael. You have a question for him?
Oh, hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, barely. We're having trouble even tuning into the radio station. We clicked on to the Rembaum website, but it says not on air.
Huh.
Well, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, in our documents, we don't quite understand it, but it says transfer subject to approval. The sale, lease, or other transfer of a lot shall be subject to the prior written approval of the association. That does that also mean that if somebody inherits the property, they have to be approved by the association?
Hi, Pat. Good question. Now, there is the simple answer is if the documents do provide that all transfers of title are subject to approval, then yes, an inheritance would be a transfer of title subject to approval. There should be further language within the governing documents which would provide language for how that approval is provided, and if it is going to be disapproved, what the options are with regard to the board for the association having to exercise a right of first refusal if that applies.
Okay. So we would have to amend our document, correct?
That's what it sounds like.
Right. If you wanted to exclude or exempt inheritances from going through the approval process, the proper way would be to amend your documents, as opposed to the board just simply ignoring it, because then you're not uniformly following and enforcing your governing documents as they were written.
Okay. We also have recently been notified by a realtor company that we are under mandatory membership, and as a result, our home values have dropped drastically. And now someone is interested in bringing a sober house within the community.
Okay.
Can you explain to us what is a sober house permitted to move into a single-family community development, such as Aberdeen?
Well, when you say mandatory membership, do you mean in a country club or just in the association itself?
The country club.
Well, all the property is subject to that mandatory membership, and unless there's some kind of exclusion for a sober house or a similar type facility, they would also be under the same requirements as any other owner of the property to pay whatever is required to be a member and everything that goes with it to the country club.
I just find it hard to believe that a federal grant for such would be willing to pay that.
Well, the provider of the grant may not be aware that that aspect of it exists on that particular property, and there may be other funds available besides just the federal grant. So it's hard to predict
I see. Yeah.
exactly what's going on there. But for anyone who's running such a facility, that may not be the ideal location to go.
Yeah, well, that's how we feel.
I'm sure.
Unfortunately, you can't stop it.
Isn't it? Okay, well, those were our questions. Thank you. I wish we could hear the question and answer part, but we can't seem to get tuned into the station.
Well, we're fixing the website.
In the meantime, can you get it on the radio at 1470 a.m.?
That's what we're going to try next, yeah.
Okay.
I'll try that next.
I know
Thank
you won't be
very
able to
much.
see us, but
But it will be replayed after today. If
It's on your website. They can actually go back and watch it. Today's show.
Well, that's where we did. We went to the Rembaum website, and it lets you into radio, and you click live stream, but then it says not on air.
we're
Okay, well,
communicating with our IT person to make that
Okay.
fixed
thanks,
for you.
Pat.
Thank you very much.
These shows now are kind of like the seminar I went to, the 2-hour seminar, where
Two callers.
two callers, where someone would have a question, and then also someone else would have a question,
well,
and
they
it would
do.
just
That's what happens a lot.
snowball.
Which is these town halls that which we'll talk about in a little bit, that we're starting in November. That's exactly what happens.
Okay, so let's go to our next caller,
Nuria.
Naria.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. I was calling regarding the fire sprinklers at Retrofit. I know there's been a lot of talk about it lately, and the condominiums that I'm talking about, they're less than 75 feet, and
Less
they have
than.
exterior exits. Are we responsible to get the opt-out vote?
You just said you're less than 75 feet, and
Yes.
all units have an exterior exit?
Yes.
No, you're not required to get the opt-out vote.
Nor are you required to install the fire sprinkler system.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you have described is exempt.
Okay. All right. That's all all my questions. Perfect.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for listening and thanks for calling.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I think we have another caller,
I think it's Patty.
Patty. Hi, Patty.
Hi. I just have a quick question. At our entranceway, we have a condominium and in Deerfield Beach here, and at the entrance we have 2 flags up, and one of the residents is telling us it's against 713 chapter or something she's rambling on about. And I just wanted to know. And I've gone on the site, and it's not. It needs a little clarification. It says every owner is allowed to have one retractable flag, but it doesn't say anything about the common ground.
And you're correct. There's no limitation in the statute for the association to fly a flag. What type of flag is it?
It's 2 American flags.
They're American flag. Okay. There is no limitation on the association flying on the common areas 2 American flags. And you are correct. The statute does allow owners to fly a flag on their own property under certain limited circumstances.
Okay, so there's nothing she can do about it.
That the owner is incorrect in her statement.
Oh, great, thank you. And I just kind of heard the other lady before me talking about the retrofitting for the sprinklers.
Yes.
We don't have to. Do I have to opt out with that? Because we're a 2-story building and we don't have any inside hallways, nothing.
2-story buildings would be considered exempt.
And we're going to talk more about the retrofit issue.
The retrofit issue, the sprinkler retrofit issue, is applying to the high rise,
Okay.
which is 75 feet or above, not the low or mid rise.
Great. Okay, great. Is this show on every week? I just saw
Once
it
a
in my
month, the
email.
first Thursday of the month, we're here at 5 o'clock.
5 p.m. to 6 p.m. first Thursday. You can also stream it on our website at kbrlegal.com. So if you miss a show or you want to go back and listen to old shows, they're on there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Great
Patty.
weekend.
Thanks for finding
Well, we got to
us.
go to break. Running a little late. We come back, we have more with Robert and Michael.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with Kaye Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, Kaye Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert Kaye, Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, Kaye Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we're back. We're here with we're Ask the Experts is on every week from 5 to 6. But the first Thursday of the month, we have the Kaye Bender Rembaum Show for an hour. If you've got questions, you can call us right now, 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470. And you can tell these guys, they take time to answer your questions. God, it's like I'm sucking up. That's horrible. Give everybody your phone number.
The phone number you can reach either office is 800-974-0680.
And the greatest website I've ever seen. You guys put so much work into your website.
Thank you. And there's a lot of education available on there, and it's free to access, kbrlegal.com. We also use the website with our clients when we handle our collection files. There's a 24/7 access, so all of our clients always know at all time what files were being worked on, and they can get easy updates and pictures of ledgers and know what funds are being collected. It's all very transparent, and our clients like that. So, yeah, we've worked hard on the website, so we appreciate that.
And by the way, I'm told that it is streaming now on the show, so anyone who might have had difficulty, try again.
Good. So the show here is Kaye Bender Rembaum. They are a community association law firm. This is probably more for me, but this guest restrictions and screening tenants, can you give us just a little bit of taste about that?
A little taste about...
In other words, what this
the
is
class
about.
is?
The
The class or the subject?
Well, the premise of the subject matter, or the what you learn in the class?
What you learn in the class.
Oh, the class. The title basically gives it away.
Right.
And the one of the callers who we just spoke with actually asked a question that would be involved. The class might touch upon, which is really what the requirements are with regard to the screening of tenants, new owners, and guest restrictions. And is it worthwhile? And I'd say the answer to that, in my opinion, is a resounding yes. However, there's a lot of potential pitfalls if you don't have language in your documents that read in a certain way. So what the class really goes over the recommendations for updating your documents if they don't have the language already that allows you to properly do screening and approving of tenants and new owners, as well as how to close some of those loopholes with regard to guests and guest restrictions. And then there's so many different questions or fact patterns that we get almost on a daily basis. Like I believe it was Nuria who asked about the inheritance issue, and so I had mentioned to her, yes, if the documents say all transfer of title are subject to approval, then that's something you'd be doing. But the documents also should have language regarding a right of first refusal, and then whether there's a good cause reason for not having to exercise a right of first refusal. It's layers upon layers, and it's what we do in the class is we take this very potentially complex legal issue and try to explain it in very easy to understand terminology, so that when our attendees leave the class, they feel like they have a much better understanding of what their responsibilities are, and if there's actions they need to take, either to update their documents or just to have their documents require, or they have to do board resolutions to adopt rules, etc., to supplement their documents, they can leave with a comfort level.
So there's a lot to learn in these classes.
Most definitely. And,
I mean, like I said, the one I was in was 2 hours long.
Sure.
And we probably could have gone another hour.
And before
Easily.
anything, the documents have to contain authority to review applications for sale, lease, or both.
Now, you've got a seminar series coming up. I've never heard this one. Ask the Attorneys in November.
Well, you
Well,
have because
that's
you were
the town hall.
That's
That's
the one
the town
we were
hall.
at. Okay.
We just came up with a nice new name. Don't you like it?
Oh, I like the name. That's why it threw me off.
Well, we've done town hall series for 9 years, or this will be our 9th year, I guess. I thought it was longer, but this will be our
seems
9th
longer.
year. And the town hall series, or the Ask the Attorneys series, will start in Tamarack in November.
What we call our road show.
Right, and Robert and I go out and we do our traveling road show, and we do it in locations throughout the Tri-County area.
Also with light snacks.
And yes, and also free to attend. And it is in a town hall format. In the past, where it started from was every year in Tallahassee, there were community association bills that were proposed, that were discussed, that were adopted and signed by the governor into law. And Robert and I used to go out and give not only just for managers, but also for board members and interested board members, the layman's version of the laws, what the laws really mean and how to apply them. And at those programs, we used to get a lot of questions that were not necessarily related to new legislation.
In fact, unrelated.
Unrelated. And what
Most of them were.
Right. And what we found was, like the guest restrictions class, that class focuses an hour and a half intensely on guest restrictions and screening tenants. We have updating your governing documents, why that's important, and that focuses on that. We have classes on covenant enforcement or elections, and that focuses on that. And but people want, and so those are the questions, and so people will ask questions outside the subject matter, and most of the attendees are there for a specific topic.
But they'll still be asking questions on other topics.
So what we've done for these town halls is we said, okay, well, let's offer a venue where interested board members and managers can come and ask questions on multiple subject matters. Whatever they want to discuss. And that was one that you attended, and that was 2 hours plus. Those usually they're booked for 2. We've rarely gotten out in less than 2.5, because it is interesting and it's a lot of give and take, a lot of feedback.
Sure, and it snowballs. One person asks a question, then someone else builds on that question with the same topic or branches into a similar but different topic.
I like the guest speaker you brought that day.
And sometimes we do have guest speakers.
Yeah, you had a guest speaker.
We'll have people who will sponsor. Sometimes we have other vendors who want to sponsor some of these programs.
Cable television, I think it was.
Marcy Gershoni of Cable Community Cable Consultants.
Free commercial.
Yep. There you go, Marcy. We have, and those particular programs are really they're very well attended, and we find that they do offer the ability for anyone, like the people calling and asking these questions. This is a give and take. It's a face-to-face where we get to talk about lots of different subject matters. And the first one will be in Tamarack, and I don't have that on here.
In November.
It's
Community
November.
Center.
I'm going to tell you.
Do you have the
Do you
date?
have the date?
November 15th.
Thank you.
6 p.m.
November 15th, 6 p.m. in Tamarack.
6
It's open to
p.m.
everyone. And we will be announcing at future radio shows and on our website. And if you're interested in getting email information on future classes and programs and legal morsels and different education that we put out, you can also send your email address to info@kbrlegal and ask to be put on our mailing list, and we'll be happy to do that. But
we're still setting dates and places for the coming months after November.
It's wonderful. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, and the people, no one got up and left. People stayed because there were so many interesting topics that were brought up.
I agree. So we'll be offering them starting November 15th in Tamarack, and then perhaps we may have one in December, depending on the availability, and definitely 1 or 2 in January, February, and into March. So keep your eyes and ears out for those.
Well, I don't want to start on a new subject yet, but I got 3 emails in the last week, people going, we don't get to hear the show when it gets started. Can you start repeating the dates? And I understand what they're saying because they don't get it in their car at 5 o'clock. You start usually giving your seminar dates around 10.
You asked the question when we started.
Okay, so can you give them again?
Well, also, they can go to the website at kbrlegal.com, and all the courses that we have are generally easily locatable on the website. There's a whole calendar, and they can find the various dates that we have planned already. They can make their reservations to attend on the website as well. So that's one option for those who may not hear it during the show.
And you can actually right now, if you are at home, you can actually go to kbrlegal.com. You can actually watch the show live right now. Or
pretty fun.
You can just listen to
And
the
while
radio.
watching, you can click on and find when the classes are, because
Exactly.
If you click on that, you won't be able to see. So,
And then next month, hopefully, I think, and it's looking pretty good. Next month, we'll start on 95.3 FM. So you can
hear us
listen
in
to us
stereo.
on FM, or you can listen to us. The only thing is, 1470 is a 50,000 watt station. It gets out there. That's powerful. There's only 4 or 5 stations in the United States. When we come back, we're going to be talking about fire system retrofitting. Refitting.
fire sprinkler.
The requirements. We're going to talk about electronic voting alternatives when we come back. So let's go to break, and when we come back, we're going to give you all the dates again, but we've got some cool topics we're going to be talking about in the next 30 minutes.
and call us.
Yeah, the phone number here is 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. You can call in with your questions, and we will be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with Kaye Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, Kaye Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert Kaye, Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, Kaye Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size, and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we're back. Lights on. We're back. We're
Hello,
here
everybody.
with the Kaye Bender Rembaum Law Firm. They are a community association law firm located in both Pompano and Palm Beach Gardens. But they handle all of Dade, Broward, Palm Beach Gardens, all the way up into the Treasure Coast. And if you'd like to call us right now, you can call us at 888-565-1470. For those of you who've just tuned in for the first time, I'm going to let Michael
What are you gonna
tell
let
us
me do?
about your firm.
You are? Well, that's kind of you. Welcome, new listeners. Kaye Bender and Rembaum. We are proud to offer full service to our community association clients, the condominium, the HOA, the cooperative associations who are governed by their boards of directors and work with their management companies in many instances. We are brought in as general corporate counsel. These particular associations are corporations. They're not-for-profit corporations, but they're corporations nonetheless. Some are quite large, some might be small. But in that, these directors who volunteer step up to be on the boards of these corporations. And in their capacity, they should be required, in order to meet their fiduciary duty, they have experts they should be relying upon. A very good management company, a good CPA, a good insurance agent, and experienced qualified legal counsel. And Kaye Bender Rembaum, that is what we bring to the table. We bring the experience, the qualifications, and the customer service aspect of what you look for in a lawyer. So not only do we have the answers to your questions, or we can find the answers to your questions pretty easily, but we are accessible, we are responsive, we provide our opinions in English so it's easy to interpret. We don't nickel and dime our clients. We don't have meters on our phones. We don't have meters on our monitors. It's like we want to establish a long-term relationship. And we assist our clients with interpreting their governing documents, updating and amending their governing documents, enforcing their governing documents, writing contracts, reviewing contracts, negotiating contracts, any day-to-day operations, meetings, meeting procedures, attendance at meetings, addressing for HOAs your covenants and the preserving your covenants under the Marketable Record Title Act. And unfortunately, if it's too late to preserve them, then helping clients to revitalize those documents. We've had several new associations come to us whose documents had been expired, and we're proud to say we were able to help them get them revitalized.
We also interpret statutes.
We do interpret statutes, and we also do collections, of course, in aggressive manner. We have a website which gives all of our clients 24/7 access with a private password so they can see at all times the matters we're handling in collection, foreclosure for the association, bank foreclosure, even bankruptcy. And and so we're proud of what we offer. And I'd say this: we bring the large firm qualifications, experience, but in the boutique firm setting, so you get the best of both.
Gotcha. Okay, let's go to Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you have a question for Robert or Michael?
Yes, correct. My question is, I serve on my condominiums board, and we were having a heated discussion at our last meeting about how many hours we put on to this job, yet it is unpaid. So my question is it legal to pay board members?
Not direct.
Well, it's legal, but it's restricted in that there are limitations in the statutes for both condominiums, homeowner association, as to whether board members can be paid. And one method of being able to do so is if the governing documents authorize the association to pay a board member for their service on the board. There's also a distinction that you might keep in mind between board member and officer. While it could be the same person, the functions are different, and the statute treats them different in that while there's a limitation on the ability to pay board members for serving on the board, the ability to pay officers for serving as officers to the association is less restricted and can often be done on a board vote as well, depending on how the documents read. So your documents will have to be reviewed on the topic. If the owners vote in favor of paying board members, that's another method to do that. And of course, if board members have expenses out of pocket for things they're doing on behalf of the association can reimburse them, and that's not the same kind of issue. You're talking about basically payment for time spent doing board work, and those are the limitations on that.
Okay.
Does that cover it for you, Jay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck with it.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks for your call.
Tell me something. How much time? I know each property is probably different, but how much time does it for a board member to put into this?
Well, some board members, it's their whole life.
Really?
24/7, they're doing it. Other board members, you never hear from them. They don't even come to meetings. And then, of course, everything in between could occur. It's going to depend on the community itself as to what's required. What the
What's
needs
the
are.
average? If someone's
I don't know that I
considering-
could give you an average.
So if someone's considering wanting to become a board member,
Sure. I mean, what it should be, ideally, would be, not more than a couple hours a week, but it could be that much a day. It could be way more. It could be way less. It really depends on the needs of the association, what's going on. Condominium associations.
does the size have anything to do with
The size,
Certainly.
of course.
And whether you have a management, whether you're self-managed or whether you have a
Outside
on-site
management
manager
company.
or a outside management company, it runs the gamut. It's definitely going to be community specific and individual. I mean, there are boards where a lot of work needs to be done, and they may have 7 board members, and 2 or 3 of the board members take on all of the burden. Some with pleasure, and others begrudgingly.
do you have to have a certain kind of background that would help you to be a board member?
Well, there is no obligation to have a specific background other than being over the age of 18 years. There's no citizenship requirement, but if you have a business-related background, that's certainly going to be helpful because you are operating a business. If you have any kind of maintenance background for real property, that's also helpful, but again, not necessary to be on the board. More, you have to have a willingness to give of your time, to be thoughtful on the issues that are being presented.
Thick-skinned.
And to put the needs of the community first in the decisions that you make over your own personal issues.
So who's going to talk about fire system retrofitting
Well, I'll
requirements?
start the ball rolling because
There's some confusion.
This is a hot topic currently because under the statute, associations that are affected by this have to act on it before the end of this year, by December 31, 2016. There is a provision in the fire code within the state that requires buildings of 75 feet or more to have a certain retrofit be done on their fire sprinkler system to bring them up to current standards. The condominium statute was amended to allow associations to opt out of that requirement by a certain vote of the owners. Now, that only applies under the fire safety code to buildings that are 75 feet or more. If it's a smaller building, lower in its size, or if it's a larger one that has complete access to outside, then they're exempt from the change. But with the voting, it has to be done by December 31 of 2016, and the completion of the work has to be done by December 31 of 2019. Now, if an association opts out of the requirement to put in the system in the building that doesn't currently have it, there is a catch to that because there's another requirement of the emergency life safety system that is going to be required if you opt out of the retrofit for the fire sprinkler system. And so it's going to be one or the other is going to apply to the building of that size.
How does an association determine if retrofitting is required?
Well, first, know the size of your building. Is it more or less than 75 feet? I know it's going to be roughly 7 to 8 stories, I suspect.
I think the best answer to that particular question is they should communicate with their association council and with their local fire official and get feedback. Obviously, if they can get something in writing from their local fire official which confirms they don't need it, but if they are under 75 feet, it is, I think, now almost uniformly being accepted that mid-rise and low-rise buildings it does not apply to.
Where the confusion occurred was in the Condominium Act, there was an amendment that had taken out the height restriction that's in the fire safety code. And some people were interpreting that to think it meant it applied to all condominiums. But there's reference to the specific fire safety code provision in the statute, which is a different chapter than 718, which identifies the height restriction. By removing that language, that created the confusion, so people thought it applied to all condominiums. The Division of Condominium had sent out a statement a couple of months back that gave the impression that the division thought it was necessary for all condominiums to undertake it, but they have since backtracked on that position when it's been made clear by the state fire officials that it's only for the larger buildings.
Can a unit owner vote to opt out?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, before you get to that, I also want to make sure for those who are listening, the fact that you are a high-rise, meaning 75 feet or above, does not automatically mean you're required to retrofit with the fire sprinklers or opt out of the vote. If an automatic fire sprinkler system is not going to be required where every dwelling unit has exterior access in accordance with the fire code, or if they already have an approved engineered life safety system in accordance with the fire code. So those are things that you also want to consider. Like I said, get with council, get with your
That's the
local fire
retrofit
officials.
portion. If you don't already have it, then you have to, in essence, put it in. But if you've already got it, then that's not going to be necessary.
Or if you have the exterior access for all dwelling units.
Right.
So
Yes,
yes, but
not that common for
not for
8-story
high-rise,
buildings.
No. But if you do require, meaning you're high rise, 75 and above, you don't have the exterior access to all units, so you're required to retrofit the building with sprinklers or consider opting out of the retrofit vote. if you elect to opt out of the retrofit, you'd have to have a vote of the membership, and a majority of the membership has to approve that. And then there are other procedural requirements, documents that have to be filed and recorded and filed with particular in the county where they're located, I believe. I don't think it's with the state, but
I think the division gets something.
The division
too.
gets something, and then there's a notification that has to be sent to all owners of this process, and then owners are supposed to pass that on to anyone they sell to.
And again, this is a condominium issue for our HOA friends.
Right. This is not an HOA issue. It's a condo and cooperative issue. And then if you do vote to opt out, though, understand that under what was now confirmed as of pretty much May of this year is that the emergency life safety system, which Robert talked about earlier, is an alternative. So if you opt out of the fire sprinkler retrofit, you're effectively opting in for the need to implement this emergency life safety system. What does that mean? That is a question that will only be determined by the condominium association retaining a qualified fire engineer life safety inspector who will then give a report, which the city where you're located can then have reviewed by a third-party engineer, all at the expense of the association, to ascertain exactly what needs to be done. That may include, we are learning, some fire sprinkler retrofitting, which is where there's a lot of a little bit of uproar and some questions that need to be answered, because obviously the reason for the fire sprinkler retrofit opt-out legislation was, in fact, to allow associations to avoid could be a very, very large expense. So there is now just to also clarify, when the legislation was proposed for the opt-out, the legislation was proposed to opt out of fire sprinklers retrofit and the ELSS, as I understand it. And at an 11th hour, the ELSS language was removed, and the bill went through without it. There's been questions throughout, I guess over the years. 2016, as Robert mentioned, is now when everyone has to get this plan in place, and so that's where it became a hot button. And it was only just a couple of months ago where there was a declaratory statement that confirmed that if you opt out of the retrofit, you're opting into the ELSS. And so that's where there's a lot of associations who have opted out going back, since the statute's been in place for 5, 6, 7 years. So there are lots of associations that opted out, years ago, and now they're being told up, but you may have this other requirement. In order to determine if you do have this other requirement, you need to have that qualified engineer approved by the city you're in, give you that report. If you have not opted out, then our recommendation would be try to get that inspection done, get a report, and ascertain what it cost, what you will need to do to meet the ELSS requirements. And then from there, you can do a true cost-benefit analysis. What will it cost us to retrofit the whole building, units and common element areas, with fire sprinklers, versus what will it cost for us to meet the minimum mandatory ELSS requirements?
Is that still safe, though?
Either way would be safe.
Okay.
Well, relatively. That's the safety issue. Because that's the thing. People, I believe, like the fire officials and the fire sprinkler companies and all those will say, listen, know that as you have the right to do it, and the membership can approve it. The membership has to knowingly go into this and saying, well, we're not going to have sprinklers. So, what kind of fire safety do we have? Should there be a fire, like on the 10th floor?
This could get quite expensive. Well, that's why they're giving them 3 years to do this.
Right. And that's the idea.
Because it might not be in the budget right now.
And that's the reason why they are giving them 3 years. But
they actually gave them 9 years because it started in 2010, and originally it was 2017. Then it got pushed back to 2019.
So why is this first being brought up now?
It's not first. It's just because the deadline's approaching, it's becoming more of a concern.
Right.
So your clients already knew about this.
Well, everyone's known about it. Whether they've done anything is the issue.
Right.
Okay. Give everybody your phone number.
1-800-974-0680. Kaye Bender and Rembaum at kbrlegal.com for your community association needs.
such great educational information on there. There's a lot of links on there. We're going to go to our final break. When we come back, we are going to go over the seminars, the classes that are coming up.
So stay
We'll
tuned.
be right back.
Is your community association looking for prompt, effective, cost-efficient, and understandable legal advice and services? You'll find that and more with Kaye Bender Rembaum, a full-service commercial law firm concentrating on the representation of more than 800 community associations throughout Florida. With offices in Broward and Palm Beach counties, Kaye Bender Rembaum assists clients in all matters of association representation, including but not limited to collection of assessments, contract negotiation, covenant review and amendment, covenant enforcement, and construction defect claims. Under the direction of attorneys Robert Kaye, Michael Bender, and Jeffrey Rembaum, Kaye Bender Rembaum is dedicated to providing clients with an unparalleled level of personalized and professional service regardless of their size and takes into account their individual needs and financial concerns. For more information, visit www.kbrlegal.com or call 954-928-0680.
And we are back. We're here with the Kaye Bender Rembaum Law Firm. They do community association law. They're with us the first Thursday of the month from 5 to 6. We're here with Robert Kaye and Michael Bender. We did in the very first part of the show all the certification courses that are coming up that you provide for free. Mm-hmm. Let's go over all your classes you've got coming up the month of September.
Okay. We will be offering Condominium Association Board Member Certification in Palm Beach Gardens on September 21st and in Pompano Beach on September 27th. All Palm Beach Gardens classes, by the way, are Wednesday nights, and all Pompano Beach classes are Tuesday nights.
Palm Beach Gardens, 6 o'clock. Pompano Beach, 6:30.
Correct. So the September 21st in Palm Beach Gardens, September 27th in Pompano Beach for all condominium board members who require certification or who want to get good education. And anyone who's interested in running for their board in this next election cycle, which, although there are elections every month, primarily I think it's the October to March segment. If you come to one of our classes now and get your certification, that is good for 1 year from the date you get it. So if you are elected or appointed to your board 1 year from September 21st or September 27th, you will have already met this certification requirement as a board member. So keep that in mind. We also are both at the guest restrictions and screening tenants and new owners. The class for managers that will give you the HR credit, that's Tuesday, September 13th in Pompano Beach and Wednesday, September 28th in Palm Beach Gardens. Palm Beach Gardens will also have a third class this month, September 14th, which is board member certification for homeowner association board members. All of these classes are free. All offer light snacks. And but all do require RSVP because space is limited. So whether you're going to Pompano Beach or Palm Beach Gardens, please RSVP to info@kbrlegal.com. Or if you go to the website, kbrlegal.com, you can click on links there and RSVP directly.
If you've got a question before we go off the air, it's 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. Is animal assistance still a hot topic?
It is, yes. It's a hot topic, but what I believe we're finding is many board members are frustrated because the way that the HUD regulations have come down and have been applied by agencies sort of makes them think, hey, none of the language of our governing documents even matter. And to a small extent, they're correct. I remember reading a headline sometime saying the no pet community is gone, which it is. Even though these assistance animals are not considered pets, people buy into these communities because they don't want to live with dogs.
They're allergic,
right? And we'll use, even though there's other pets, we'll just use dogs as the best example. And so now, when you have people bringing in one dog or two dogs, they're able to get medical documentation from physicians from all sorts of social workers and psychiatrists and psychologists. They're able to get documentation which would meet the requirements that HUD has offered in their regulations. And it becomes very difficult to challenge that unless you have clear evidence that they are committing fraud, which is really unlikely.
Or hard to prove.
So what I just want to say one thing. So what you're doing there is you do want to review the documents and make sure you get they get their ducks in a row. But I think it's also very, very important that anyone listening understands that even if you have to accept the animal into the community, that does not give the individual who is in charge of the animal carte blanche. There are rules and regulations that should be adopted by the board and put in place that govern the assistance animal on the property. And some of the obvious ones are the animal can be there but can't be a nuisance. Should be on a leash at all times or carried. Incessant barking, sure. Aggressive behavior, running unfettered, in the common property, urinating or relieving itself anywhere and any place. I mean, those are reasonable rules that can and should be enforced against the individual with the particular assistance animal.
But there are also limitations on the rules that can be imposed.
Correct.
So you can't force them to carry it only through certain parts of the building. Wherever the owner's allowed to go or the resident's allowed to go, the animal has to be able to go as well.
I found out something new a couple weeks ago because Renee's father, they do not allow dogs, pets there, and there are dogs and there are cats there.
Well, emotional support animals can be just about anything.
Yeah, well, older people a lot of times are afraid of dogs. Not that any of them have ever come up to them, or they're just afraid, and they want to move to a community that just does not allow dogs. And all of a sudden, here they go. They bought a condominium, and there's dogs there.
Right.
And it's not about if the dogs bark. They're just afraid of animals.
Right. Unfortunately, the fear that they have, unless there's some documented disability, and then we would have competing disability claims. The fear is not considered by HUD to be protectable. Correct. That's a good word. So as I always explain, and when I give these seminars or have these talks about it, fair housing regulations have been implemented for the benefit of the few at the expense of the many. And I don't say that in any form of negative connotation, because, quite frankly, most of the fair housing laws, when appropriately applied, are absolutely necessary. Is the word I'm looking for. But it is tough, and owners, I think, board members would just get frustrated, and I understand why. We're frustrated too.
We've got another call.
Well, let's take it.
Let's go to Andrea. Hi, Andrea.
Hi. Our association requires residents to report rules violation in writing. Many residents are hesitant to do this because they are afraid of retaliation, or they don't want to involve in a dispute. They complain the association isn't reinforcing the rules. Most residents want to report violations in secret, verbally, or they want the association to solve the problem for them. So how can we motivate them to report rules violation in writing?
Well, that's a common problem that many associations face when they have issues of owners or residents that are causing nuisance type issues, disturbances to others. People are afraid to report them or don't want to be involved. Unfortunately, without the involvement of people who have personal knowledge of whatever issue is going on, whatever disturbance, whatever nuisance type situation, there needs to be a report on file with the association with an identifiable person with the information necessary if the association is going to be able to do anything of an enforcement type nature, be it a lawsuit or arbitration case in a condominium. Because you can't just make a claim that somebody's a problem, you have to prove your claim. And the only way to prove your claim is through documentation, witness testimony, etc. So the only way to motivate your owners in that setting is to let them know if they want the association's help in resolving this issue and it's appropriate for the association to be involved, then they have to be willing to put it in writing, and they have to be willing to testify if it should come to it. The association can protect that information while the matter is pending. That doesn't have to be shared with the person who is the focus of the problem, at least until it gets to more formal litigation settings. But other than that, there has to be a willingness to participate in order to get the problem resolved.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your call, Andrea.
Thanks for calling. Wow. It went by fast.
It did.
It's always fun.
Again, give everybody your phone number if they'd like to contact your office.
1-800-974-0680. You can call directly to Pompano 954-928-0680. Palm Beach Gardens, I don't know by memory.
561-241-4462.
I use speed dial for that.
Right. And kbrlegal.com for all of the information. There is a tab on the website, resources. Drop down, read Legal Morsels, read Rembaum's Roundup. It's great education. If you want to get on our email list, let us know so you can be invited to classes, seminars, programs, and get information. We update new case law all the time when it comes out. That's pertinent to associations. And if we can assist your associations, either replacing your current counsel or being new additional counsel, contact us at 800-974-0680. We're free consultation.
New Legal Morsel should be out maybe as soon as tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, and you guys will be back next month, first Thursday of the month. Great show, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Happy
with
Labor
more
Day.
Ask the Experts.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show with Steve-O and Renee. Tune in every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.